Morning everyone, Dr. Eric at Fitness Physician. We'll talk about a little bit about shoulders. I'll do some other ones later on correctives. I'm doing core and correctives today, but someone's asking about wider shoulders. Obviously there's a million exercises you can do for this. But one thing I think a lot of people neglect is focusing on your lateral delts and engaging them properly. A lot of people don't want to have your hands above your elbows and swinging them around. And when you're doing your standing ones, of course, you lose your tension from about here and then from here up, so it's a narrow range. So I did some videos a few days ago about the leaning lateral ones where you get a different range of motion. One thing you can do too is when you're focusing on it is you keep your elbows up and keep it, and once you get to the top, pause for about 2 to 3 seconds or more if you can. And think about stretching, as Christian Thibodeau says, stretch. Think about stretching, you're reaching your outer corners of the walls, not just up, but trying to extend, almost feel like you're stretching your shoulder out. You can actually pause at the bottom. You can even use a weight bench for this. When you go up and you pause and you go down, you don't rest the barbells on the weight, but just kind of leaves them to stop their momentum and go, because a lot of people, they get that momentum thing going, right? And there's a time and a place for that, but if you're really focusing on engaging the lats and hitting that hypertrophy, the time under tension, just use it as a slight pause, just to slow your momentum down. Back up. Again, pause. Very brief pause. Repeat that. When you're done with that, you can even superset with some wide upright rows. I know a lot of people don't like to do these, but if you're doing them wide and not too high, you're not going to have any impingement issues. Obviously, if it hurts, don't do it, but that's a nice way you could superset, or just superset with some presses or another shoulder movement. Shoulders respond very nicely to back-to-back sets and supersets. Kind of get that growth phase going, right? Longer time under tension, higher reps, back-to-back, get that burn. That doesn't always, again, you still want to mix in the higher strength, higher weight movements, but oftentimes when hypertrophy is lagging, you got to throw in some hypertrophy movements, more higher reps, get that metabolic accumulation in the muscles, so to speak. So I'm just kind of talking off the cuff here. I don't want to get too much into it, but basically the bottom line is mix up higher weights, lower reps, as well as higher reps and lower weights, and sometimes combine them together. I'll do some more shoulder movements in a little bit, but if you really focus on that mind-muscle connection, feeling that squeeze, feeling those pauses, and then throwing in either some drop sets or some supersets, you'll get that burn, get that metabolic accumulation of buildup in the blood vessels, spur angiogenesis, get growth hormone production, and I can't even talk, I'm breathing so fast, so give that a try, and we'll talk to you guys soon.